Imagine there's no—
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and first of all I have to address, I got a mic. Everyone clap and cheer. I've seen the comments of you guys saying that my audio sucks, so I purchased this so that way I don't hurt your ears anymore and the quality is a lot better. So let's start out there. I'm listening and I'm learning and we now have a mic. Let me know how the audio quality is on this video. Next, we need to talk about this week's topic. Now it has been 5 years since Miss P came through and really threw a wrench in all of our lives. We were in a quarantine, we couldn't go anywhere, and I would say that led to a lot of unfortunate things happening just in general, but I think all of us have our horror stories from quarantine. I know I have mine. I literally bleached my hair, and I'll show that picture here, but you guys need to promise that it's not gonna go anywhere. It was a really vulnerable moment for me, and I cannot believe I'm sharing it on the internet. But more so than us common folk, we saw some crash out behavior from a lot of celebrities. I want to go through, now that it has been about 5 years, and take a trip down memory lane and look at some of these antics that these people were doing back in 2020 while we were all locked inside and had nothing better to do than observe this happening on the internet, and kind of add some commentary because I really would like to know your thoughts on these as well. Starting with the infamous Imagine performance. If you don't remember this, you just weren't on the internet clearly, because this was one of the most insane things that happened during this time, because I don't know why Gal Gadot thought that this was a good idea in the slightest. What would have possessed celebrities to clip together them singing their version of John Lennon's Imagine and blasting it out to the masses as if that would make us feel any better about being locked inside for months? As I said, Gal Gadot could be considered the ringleader to this, and it's 5 years later and Gal Gadot has found herself in another controversy with the Snow White movie. I literally cannot even begin to talk about that.
Enough champagne to fill the Nile. Kalel, no. Max Lord, you're putting yourself and everyone else in grave danger.
But it's just funny that I am talking about the Imagine performance when every single day I see something on the internet about how horrific her performance was in that movie.
All right, so I think that there is an irony of having Gadot play the evil queen, because that's a woman obsessed with beauty. And here's Gadot, where that's the only thing that she brings to the role. She can't act, she can't sing, she even has trouble just standing there. She is truly awful in the role.
But moving on, she was the one who posted it to her Instagram account, and her and Kristen Wiig actually orchestrated the whole thing. So let me read the list of celebrities that were in this. I don't want to miss out on anyone, so let me just read from my document. There was Kristen Wiig, Jamie Dornan, James Marsden, Sarah Silverman, Jimmy Fallon, Natalie Portman, Zoe Kravitz, Sia, Linda Carter, Amy Adams, Leslie Odom Jr., Pedro Pascal, Chris O'Dowd, Dawn O'Porter, Will Ferrell, Mark Ruffalo, Nora Jones, Ashley Benson, Kaya Gerber, Cara Delevingne, and Maya Rudolph. They pretty much all got a line, and it was clipped together. I'll just play it for you here. I don't need to explain it. I'm sure you've already seen it, but here is the infamous Imagine video, and I'm gonna put copyright-free music over the top because it is a song that will give me a strike if I keep it on.
Hey guys, day 6 in self-quarantine, and I gotta say that these past few days got me feeling a bit philosophical. You know, this virus had affected the entire world, everyone. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, we're all in this together. And I ran into this video of this Italian guy playing the trumpet in his balcony to all the other people who were locked inside their homes. And he was playing Imagine, and there was something so powerful and pure about this video. And it goes like this. Imagine there's no heaven.
It's easy if you try.
No hell below us.
Vindicate or die for. And no religion too. They may say that I'm a dreamer, and the world will be as one.
Gal was actually inspired to do this because she saw a video that went viral of a man playing that song on his balcony in Italy, and immediately she knew what to do. She was like, yes, let me get together 20 celebrities and make them all sing it and then blast it out to the public, because that's what's gonna make them feel better. She did it as a way to try and bring joy to people's lives, or at least that's what she said to the news outlets that asked her about it later on. And saying this video was ripped to shreds is honestly an understatement. The fact that Gal didn't go into hiding after this is astounding to me, because the way that she was getting clowned, not only like on social media, but in like the mainstream media, and also then for years to come in different like movies and TV shows, is crazy. A writer from the New York Times called it an empty and profoundly awkward gesture. There were a million Twitter memes that went on. I'll try to find a few to put in here. John Mayer also poked fun at it on his Instagram by releasing his own version where it's all the celebrities singing and then he comes in and starts singing Imagine by Ariana Grande.
Below us.
Me with no makeup, you in the bathtub, bubbles and bubbly, ooh. Imagine all.
That was actually really funny, and I thought that that clowning was like the perfect level of poking fun at it. Also, The Boys, that show on Prime Video, did a parody of it where they had like one of their characters and like whatever the team is, like The Boys, sing it and blast it out to the public on social media, just as Gal did.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try.
Now, years later, Miss Godot did say that it was in poor taste, but it was made with good intentions. And I don't know, like, celebrities do crazy things all the time. Next, we need to talk about truly one of the most insane internet moments of all time. I will try to talk about this whenever I physically can, and that is Vanessa Hudgens' Instagram live rant after she found out that Coachella was postponed 2 days into lockdown. This crash out was one for the ages. If you didn't know, Vanessa Hudgens has kind of been dubbed the queen of Coachella with her boho chic style. She's been attending the festival for so many years, to the point where now if she doesn't go, she announces it on social media, so we don't expect to look for her outfits. But of course it was postponed in 2020 because of obvious reasons. But 2 days into our quarantine, Vanessa decided to hop on Instagram Live after presumably having 1.5 bottles of wine and say this.
Yeah, till July sounds like a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry. But like, it's a virus. I get it. Like, I respect it. But at the same time, like, even if everybody gets it, like, yeah, people are gonna die. It's just terrible. But like, inevitable? I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this right now.
And in my opinion, that was one of the most insensitive things to be said at that time. Like, we really have to think about it. It was so unprecedented for all of us. No one had any idea what was going on. It was literally March 17th. The US shut down on March 15th, and we were all kind of just scared, uncertain. And she goes on live and she says, well, yeah, people are gonna die, which is terrible.
But like, inevitable?
Oh, I probably shouldn't be saying this. No, Miss Vanessa, you probably shouldn't. At least there was like a self-aware moment within that live. But the quotes that came out of that are things that I personally say pretty frequently. Till July sounds like a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry, but like, it's a virus. Even if everybody gets it. Oh yeah, people are gonna die. I can't stop. Again, while it was insensitive, it did give us a lot of good content, unfortunately. And to think that this was all in response to just finding out that Coachella was postponed. At that point, it wasn't even canceled in 2020. It was just like moved to the fall. And then later on, of course, they did cancel it. But like, It was just postponed a few months and she was crashing out to the max. I know you guys know this video and I know you know the way she got clowned on the internet because of it and still does. At first, Vanessa did release a statement saying that her words were taken out of context, which I listened to that entire live. Like, those words were just the words that she said. There was no other context besides the way that she meant them in, and that's what everyone took out of it. There was no way to scramble the message that she was giving us. But she did admit later on that her words were tone deaf, they were not appropriate, and what came out of that was a huge wake-up call because at that time, yeah, she was a little bit getting canceled. Of course, that didn't really impact her career at all. She's still working, she's still hosting red carpets, but she did say to news outlets months later that it was a wake-up call after she released her initial statement and it did not blow over like she thought it would. Lastly, another celeb crash out we need to talk about that happened in April of 2020 was Lana Del Rey's Question for the Culture Instagram rant. I have no words for this. I am a huge Lana Del Rey fan, and this day in the fandom was something that took everyone by surprise because Lana decided to release a statement on all of her social media platforms, basically coming at other people in the music industry for coming at her for the subjects of her songs. Now, this whole thing is extremely nuanced and layered, but of course, during lockdown, everyone had time to think and reflect, including Miss Lana Del Rey. And what she chose to do with it was pose a question to the general public, a question for the culture, if you will. And without further ado, here is my dramatic reading of Lana Del Rey's Question for the Culture. Now that Doja Cat, Ariana, Camila, Cardi B, Kalani, and Nicki Minaj and Beyonce have had number ones with songs about being sexy, wearing no clothes, effing, cheating, etc., can I please go back to singing about being embodied, feeling beautiful by being in love, even if the relationship is not perfect, or dancing for money? Or whatever I want, without being crucified or saying that I'm glamorizing abuse? ? I'm fed up with female writers and alt singers saying that I glamorize abuse when in reality I'm just a glamorous person, singing about the realities of what we are all now seeing are very prevalent emotionally abusive relationships all over the world. With all of the topics women are finally allowed to explore, I just want to say over the last 10 years, I think it's pathetic that my minor lyrical exploration detailing my sometimes submissive or passive roles in my relationship have often made people say that I've set women back hundreds of years. Let this be clear, I am not a feminist. But there has to be a place in feminism for women who look and act like me. The kind of women who says no, but men hear yes. The kind of women who are slated mercilessly for being their authentic, delicate selves. The kind of women that get their own stories and voices taken away from them by stronger women or by men who hate women. I've been honest and optimistic about the challenging relationships I've had. Newsflash, that's just how it is for many women. And that was sadly my experience up until the point those records were made. So I just want to say it's been a long 10 years of BS reviews up until recently, and I've learned a lot from them. But I also feel like I really paved the way for other women to stop putting on a happy face and just to be able to say whatever the hell they wanted to in their music. Unlike my experience, where if I even express a note of sadness in my first two records, I was deemed literally hysterical as though it was literally in the 1920s. Anyways, none of this has anything to do about much, but I'll be detailing some of my feelings in my next two books of poetry, mostly the second one with Simon & Schuster. Yes, I'm still making personal reparations with the proceeds of the book to my choice of Native American foundations, which I'm very proud and happy about. And I'm sure there will be tinges of what I've been pondering in my new album that comes out September 5th. Thanks for reading. Happy quarantine. Naming artists like Ariana Grande, Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, Doja Cat, basically saying if they can get number ones talking about risque topics, then why can't she, in her music, talk about the darker parts of that, like abuse, without saying that she is glamorizing it? She also calls out critics that have said that her lyrics set women back hundreds of years, and I was just fed up with the kind of narrative that has been spun about her in the industry as someone who writes about unsafe, unfamily-friendly topics, and she felt like she was getting penalized for it in a world where other artists could do the same thing, talking about risque topics and not being told they're glamorizing it or giving it more of a platform or setting women back. So she felt like it was extremely unfair, the treatment that she was given. And Lana does talk about a lot of heavy things in her music. I mean, a lot of other artists do as well. But isn't it Lana's right to tell her stories in her music without being burned at the stake for shining a light on it? This actually broke the internet the day that it was posted because she did name a lot of her peers in the music industry, some of the biggest people in music, and it really did ask a question and beg an answer from the culture about what are we doing here? And while I'm not going to say that her statement was right or wrong, I will say that maybe she has a point because she writes about her life and her experiences, and other artists do that as well. So where are we drawing the line in terms of glamorizing behavior? Is it when Lana talks about things that are a little bit darker? Or should we be holding that same attitude towards other people that do it when they talk about their X-rated topics that have happened in their life? I feel like art is always subjective, so people are going to have differences in opinion when it comes to this, but it's really hard to discern what's right and what's wrong when you're writing about your own experience, because that is what writing music is. So I don't know. I see where Lana's coming from. I see where other people are coming from. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying like what she did was based on a lot of reflection she was doing during lockdown because she didn't know what was going on. She felt frustrated by the way the industry has treated her. And she said, well, if these other people can talk about X-rated topics and not get attacked for it, then why can't I?
Okay, it is like days later and I'm editing the original video and I cannot believe I forgot to mention this Lana Del Rey question for the culture Instagram post spawned a new internet joke called the Lana Curse. Now, it seemed like every single artist that she mentioned in the original post went through some sort of scandal in the years following. So like Doja Cat having that really problematic era followed by her saying that she like literally hated all of her fans, Cardi B and Offset divorcing, Kalani posting with Chris Brown, which made all of her fans super, super upset, Nicki Minaj getting arrested in Amsterdam and other things as well. And then people said that Camila Cabello's CXOXO flopping was part of the Lana curse. And no, I don't agree with that because CXOXO is honestly a stunning album and it just was not for the GP. Like, you're not going to get it for many years. Like, I love that album and I'm so sad that it did not have commercial success. Like, going back, it is actually really, really good. But anyway, this became sort of like this Twitter and TikTok joke where like every single one of these people, when they got involved in some sort of scandal, immediately they were like crossed off the original thing. It was like the prophecies being fulfilled. And it is so funny that not only did it have impact back then when it was posted in 2020, but also had a lasting impact for years and years to come. When one of the female artists mentioned like goes through something, immediately someone is posting question for the culture with that artist's name crossed out.
So this one is really interesting. I do want your thoughts on this in the comments below. Definitely let me know. Finally, we have some honorable mentions because there were some things that happened in 2020 that kind of felt like a fever dream and they straddle the border of crash out. I don't know if I would specifically consider these things to be crash out behavior or just things that celebrities did because they were bored and they needed to get out of the house and either like work or do something or just kind of like get out of their own isolation. But the first one is Wendy Williams going on The Masked Singer as the Lips. Now, this is my favorite moment in pop culture. I love Wendy Williams so much, but I loved her as the Lips singing Native New Yorker. If you've never seen this video, here it is.
We love you for watching this evening, but this is for New York. Young and pretty, riding the subway. On, if you know the words, let's go. Yeah, little vamping. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And guess what? No one opens the door. For a native New Yorker. Here I go.
While again, I wouldn't consider this a crash out. Wendy was really doing anything because she wanted to get out of her isolation. She loves to talk, she loves to sing, she loves to be out and about. And when you're on The Masked Singer, that tells me what I need to know about your career at that time and saying yes to opportunities, because a lot of people get asked to go on The Masked Singer, and when you say yes, that means your career is kind of on a downward trajectory. Or in this case, when it was in 2020, it's like, I'll do anything because I just need to get out of my house. And I feel like that's what it was for Wendy at that time. But this performance was so legendary. Like, ooh, little vampin', ooh, ooh, ooh. Get into it, Wendy. Like, I love her so much, and she just like lit up that stage. So funny, so everything, and if you were on TikTok at that time, you know how viral it went. It was so good. Then we have the Sia by Russ Instagram post. Insanity. I mean, celebs were like literally posting the most insane things on social media at this time, as we all were, honestly. We were all going crazy in our homes. Like, Sia just decided to post a blue screen that says virus in white letters, but the virus crossed out and it just says us as a way to unify the world. Now, did this help at all? No. Is Miss Sia the best person to maybe unify us? No as well. But she did try her best, and again, we were all going crazy. I just thought that this post was really, really funny, so I wanted to talk about it in this video 5 years later as kind of a way to say all of us were so down bad that we were just doing anything and everything. That does lead me to my next point / honorable mention, which was the influx of Roblox and Fortnite concerts. There were a lot of artists that during this time were doing virtual concerts on Roblox and Fortnite because of course they couldn't perform themselves. One of those people being Ava Max, and I just know that this meme is one of my favorites. It's her Roblox character just falling in the middle of her Roblox concert and not coming back up. So while people were watching the big Ava Max perform in the middle of a Roblox server, she fell through a hole and never came back, and that was that. There are a lot of other crash outs that I could talk about, I guess, but those were the three that really stuck with me the most. The Imagine performance, Lana Del Rey's Question for the Culture, and Vanessa Hudgens' crash out on Instagram Live after the postponement of Coachella. If you have any other ones that you can think of, please drop them in the comments. I could always do a part 2 to this video, but I thought that this was really fun and a way to kind of poke fun at things that happened in the past when we were all kind of going insane. And with that being said, that is this week's video. I have a lot of fun things coming up. Please like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot. And again, let me know how my audio is with my new mic. But have a great week, everyone. I will see you next week.
Yeah, people are gonna die. It's just terrible.